Hey guys, welcome back to the Comic Book Lowdown. I'm Wellington, bringing you guys the Pool Week video for this week. Um, Picked up a bunch of books, some really good ones. You know what? Actually, everything was really good. Um, just I'm still reeling from my pick of the week. I just finished reading it and I jumped right into the video, so I'm really excited about the book I just read, which will be revealed later on. But I'm also really excited about every book that came out this week. This was a great week to finish off on for me because I'm not going to be picking up any books. None of my books come out, I should say, this week or next week. So I'm not going to have any books for 2 weeks, so I'll probably be picking up back issues or maybe even just saving up money and whatnot. So yeah, so there won't be really any weekly review video for me for probably the next 2 weeks, but I might review other stuff that I've read, like trades or something. But anyways, we'll get to the reviews for this week. If you're new to my channel, you're new to these videos, timestamps are down below to the reviews that you want to see. And I review things from my least liked to my pick of the week. Except for this week, everything was phenomenal. So, you know, when I say least liked, it's just the one that was... There's no light way of saying it, but it's the lesser of the issues, even though everything this week was so extremely strong. So keep that in mind. Anyways, we'll get started with the first book this week, and that is Animal Man issue number 26. Again, awesome book. The reason it gets kind of the lowest spot is not because it was bad. The writing in here is absolutely fantastic, and the story is definitely necessary to continue with the story that we're having. It's just because we don't have the same cues with, you know, the Maxine stuff and all the stuff going on in the Red, really. It's just, last issue, all of a sudden, Buddy Baker is transported to this alien planet where he's being attacked by these, you know, aliens. And he doesn't, no idea what's going on. We have no idea what's going on. And then, like, the aliens he's facing, he thinks that's the worst of his problems, and then all of a sudden, he starts dealing with this guy you see on the cover. And it looks like Mongol mixed with Darkseid. But you know, whatever happens in this book, I don't want to spoil anything, but the things that happen in this book happen, and things are explained. The planet that Buddy is on is called the Seed Planet, and it's kind of overlooked by a creature named the Bridgewalker, translated into English, that is. And all those aliens and Buddy were there on that planet as a test to see who's going to be the next Bridgewalker. And things happen in this book that just very interesting dialogue points, writing points by Jeff Lemire. I love when a writer can do a book and just have a lot of dialogue and make it very interesting and very gripping. And that's what happens through a lot of this book. And then by the end of this, because of some of the things that happen between Buddy and the Bridgewalker, we can continue our story and our quest for Maxine in the next issues. And I don't want to give too much away. So just know that those of you who are like, I don't have no idea where this is going from the last issue, from the end of the last issue, it definitely explained very well here, and definitely a necessary part in continuing on with our story on Earth. So, Animal Man issue 26, great book. definitely a helping book towards the story, so no need for panic. um, Next book, and again, just another amazing book, and you know, kind of not finished actually. This is Scarlet Spider issue number 25. Christopher Yost closing out his Scarlet Spider run, the run on the book Scarlet Spider. This is the final issue, and made me mad that it was $3.99, even though it's not any bigger than the other issues. But whatever, I paid it. It's over now. This book was awesome. At the end of last issue, it seemed like everybody died. It definitely, I mean, everybody should have died, but because comics work to surprise you, pretty much there was like a rocket launcher set off in a room in a hotel. Well, I should say the presidential suite room of the Four Seasons, so it's not like a small room. It's a big room, but still, a rocket launcher was set off in that room with a bunch of people in it, and instead of people dying, people were just falling out of the building, which, you know, happens in superhero comics, so, you know, can't be surprised about that. But we go back and forth because that whole incident with, you know, people falling out of the buildings in Houston and things like that happened a week ago from where we are in the present time in this book, which is Kane and Araceli in Mexico. So he's now moved on to Mexico finally. So kind of coming full circle with where this book started. And we keep flashing back to that incident, and we find out why Kane goes to Mexico, and it's actually, you know, kind of, it's even, it's almost as sad as if everybody would have died and he had felt guilty about letting everybody down. But the reason that he goes back is because he kind of reveals himself to be the monster that he always says he is in front of everybody. And, like, not just because he ends up killing, but in the way he does it and in the form he does it in. And it's scary, and it's definitely scary for the people that, you know, trusted him so much and, you know, believed in him, to see him that way, in the way that he knows that he is. And the only person that kind of sticks by his side really is Araceli, because she kind of feels for Kane in a way that nobody else sees. So, and just the way it goes back and forth with this, and kind of Kane's position while he's in Mexico, and just Chris Yost does an awesome job writing. And what I love most about this is that this story is actually going to be continuing in New Warriors #1, which Chris Yost is writing. So I do have to buy New Warriors. I can't trade weight it or anything because I have to finish this. So yeah, we'll see where that goes. It's going to be really cool. And Scarlet Spider issue number 25 was really good book, and I can't even say it was a ending to the book because it's not ending. The story is going to continue. But anyways, we're going to continue now with the next book, and that was Deadpool issue number 21. Awesome cover, by the way. Just really, really sweet cover. I have a poster of it, so, you know, really awesome. You know, some people have been saying that they don't like where, like, I know Scott had said that he read this issue, and where he liked it, he felt like it was going to go back to the silliness that Deadpool was. There's more jokes in this book than there had been in the Good, Bad, and Ugly arc, but this is where I felt like the book was going to go. There's going to be, you know, humor and things like that, but at the same time, there's still always this undertone of, like, a very seriousness, like a seriousness. Deadpool isn't just back to, joking around Deadpool all the time. He makes his quips, but it's all in the sense that he's trying to be left alone because of what's happened, and he's trying to recover from that. But what ends up happening in this book is that a contract is put on him by Shield, by Agent Gorman, that douchebag from the first arc. um, and a contract's put out, and now a bunch of guys are gonna be coming after Deadpool. And there's this whole thing with this Agent Preston, and almost imposter type person that's being controlled by Agent Gorman, and there's a lot of twist and turn throughout this book. This single issue has a lot of substance in it, honestly. There's a lot that happens in just a single issue. We got Doctor Strange in this book, and Doctor Strange actually appears in 2 books for me this week, and he's not even a main character in those books. But anyways, this book is awesome. The Koblish art inside was fantastic, and I love this book. It's just so good. I don't see why people are kind of getting down on it. But again, I am a Deadpool fan, so that might change my opinion about it. Next book, loved it. Loved the cover of it. Amazing Spider-Man 700.4. Continuing from the last arc where Spider-Man was kind of put into the villains' hospital, where all the villains and criminals are hospitalized, and he's at the end of the issue, at the end of the .3 issue, he's found out by the doctors, and they're afraid that he's going to ruin, what they've got going. Is their number one thing that they want to do is to heal people, and they go about it by healing the criminals and things like that. So they don't want to get found out, but they're not gonna, deliberately hurt Spider-Man, because that's not what they do. They stick to a Hippocratic oath. So what happens is that they kind of put a hit. They tell all the hospitalized criminals that this is Spider-Man in here, and and so they pretty much start a riot in their own hospital, and then things get crazy really fast, and the way that this issue ends up is like, wow, they kind of screwed themselves, and I hope to see more about this thing, because it did seem like they're not done yet, and they'll be continuing their operations soon enough. The second story in this was also really good. It's about a kid that is bullied, and kind of as a bluff, he says that he tells his bullies that to quit picking on him because he's under the protection of Spider-Man, and then he has to try to get Spider-Man's attention to kind of get Spider-Man to actually appear, or the bullies are going to beat him up worse than ever before. And getting Spider-Man's attention is pretty hard in New York, even though we see him all the time, but that's because we follow Spider-Man. In reality, middle school kid is probably not likely to find Spider-Man too easily, unless he does what the kid does, and that definitely gets his attention. And the way things go in this issue, or in the second story, was really fun, really, just nice, even though kind of for the wrong reasons, but it gets touched on. And Javier Rodriguez does the art in the second story, and either him or Cameron Coley or Stegman, either Javier Rodriguez, I can't remember his name, but Cameron Coley or Ryan Stegman should do the art for the new Amazing Spider-Man book, because they do Spider-Man art fantastically. But that was Spider-Man issue 700.4. This video is already pretty long, but three more books. Next book, Superior Spider-Man issue number 24. Freaking fantastic. This book has so much in it. People are now seeing Peter Parker for kind of the bad guy he is, and it's because of, the Doc Ock stuff. The Green Goblin gang is definitely playing a big part in this book now. And we left off last issue with the Venom symbiote taking over Spider-Man. So yeah, he's the superior Venom, or the superior Venom. So kind of dumb, but even the symbiote's not liking Peter Parker. The symbiote senses that there's something different, tries to go back to Flash, and Doc Ock's Peter Parker doesn't let him, and just the mayhem ensues, and that's all I can really say about this. There's a lot of story with Mary Jane in this. Something happens to Carly in the Green Goblin hideout that is extreme. We even see the original Hobgoblin playing a role in this book. So there's going to be a lot of stuff happening. There's a bunch of mayhem is happening. A bunch of drama is going to be happening in the next issues to come. Next issue is going to be a double-sized issue, so it's going to probably be like $6.99 or something. I'm probably understating it, so just be wary of that if you still buy this. But this issue was awesome. Continuing with this whole Spider-Man kick is Amazing Spider-Man 700.5, the final book to this Amazing Spider-Man kind of mini-series, I guess you could say. And this was really fun. The first story is really fun, and then the second story is really sad. The first story is kind of a Fantastic Four Spider-Man story, and just if I go into too much detail, it will ruin the fun of this story. But pretty much, Johnny Storm was visited by a future Ben Grimm, saying to keep this device away from Reed Richards until sundown, or the universe will be exploded. It's a universe exploding device. And so Johnny Storm's freaking out, and he then takes it to Peter Parker, who just got to bed, and he's done a long night of being Spider-Man, tries to even sleep in a Spider-Man suit, and is woken up and has to go through all of these shenanigans with Johnny Storm, and then the Fantastic Four get in, and then Mary Jane gets involved, and just the fun ensues. It's a very funny first story to it, and I definitely recommend it. It's a one-shot deal, so you can just pick this issue up and enjoy the fun. But then the second story makes me really sad. It's about a kid that tried to save Spider-Man from some thugs. Spider-Man's fighting some bank robbers, and one pulled a gun and tried to shoot him. And even though Spider-Man knew that the bullet was coming, the spider sense was telling him, and he was going to jump away. But then a kid gets involved, kind of shoves one of the thugs, and then another one shoots the kid in the back. And so Spider-Man takes the kid to the hospital, and for the rest of the issue, Peter Parker's feeling guilty that, he's kind of, contributed to putting this kid in the hospital. And so he visits the kid, and just sad moments keep happening. The parents blame Spider-Man right in front of Peter Parker, and he's like, yeah, it was Spider-Man's fault. And of course, they question why he's there, and he's like, well, I was present while the thing happened, and so he kind of gives himself a backup story. But just the way this ends, I don't want to make this too long, but made me really sad. Um, but still, like, kind of like, I had a lot of mixed emotions by the end of the second story, but it's a great one. I recommend at least this issue, if not any, from the 700 point issues of Amazing Spider-Man. I recommend that people pick up the .5 issue because it's a great way to close out that whole .5 point issue deal, and definitely a great way to see some Peter Parker Spider-Man again. And then finally, final book, pick of the week. Man, Daredevil issue number 34. Mark Waid absolutely killed it. Don't know why people aren't going to continue picking this book up. No idea why. This issue was freaking phenomenal. And just the way Javier Rodriguez's art is fantastic. Hands down. Awesome. Him and Chris Samney, I just love their art. Rodriguez does the art in this book. The way things progress in this book, with Matt now having the thing that the serpents want, the whole Darkhold pages, and Doctor Strange's. This whole book has this eerie feeling in it that something bad is about to happen. Just like every time you look, it's like you see things going too good, and then just some of the dialogue with, like, there's this whole part with Doctor Strange that just feels really eerie, like Doctor Strange is withholding some information from Matt, and just this book has so much substance to it. This issue is just so freaking fantastic, and the way that kind of Matt gets his upper hand over the serpents in this issue is very, very just really cool. And he kind of recruits the aid of Kirsten to help him with that, and then she takes it to another level. And then her dialogue kind of narrates a good portion of the ending parts of this book, and then you think something happens and it doesn't happen, and you're relieved for a second, and then just the end of this issue kind of makes you worried again. And this book is so good, and there's 2 more issues of this first Mark Waid run before the move to San Francisco, which is going to be interesting because Daredevil is very well known for his Hell's Kitchen ties, but we'll see where it goes from here. This arc has been wonderful in my opinion. I can't see why people have not been enjoying it so much, but that's their thing. I love this book. And that wraps it up for my reviews this week. Cut a little long, so I'll make this quick. Again, watch out for videos other than pull week videos next week and the week after that, because I'm not going to be picking up weekly books unless I'm picking up some books that got undershipped, like Black Science number 2, and I still don't have Amazing Spider-Man 700.1, so I need to get that since I have the rest of the issues. But anyways, I'm Wellington signing off with a comic book lowdown, and I'll see you guys next time.